Now let's return to the developing story from France, where at least 4 children and an adult have been injured in a knife attack. It happened in the town of Annecy in the French Alps. Now, for more on this, we will be speaking with the RISE chief correspondent, John Cookson, who has been monitoring this story from London. Now, John, please bring us up to date. What do we know so far about this situation?
Hi, ladies. It's a very disturbing story. At 9:45 local time in Annecy, in the French Alps, there was a group of parents with their children, some of the children only 3 years old, in strollers or pushchairs, when suddenly this man appeared from nowhere with a knife and began this dreadful stabbing attack. It's left 2 kids, 2 children and 1 adult in a very serious, life-threatening condition, and we're waiting for updates from the hospital on that. What I can tell you about the man is that police say he was a Syrian national. He's thought to be called Abdul Masih, aged 31 years old. He'd applied for asylum in France in November 2022, but had also applied for asylum successfully in Sweden in April of this year. So that's as much as we know about the man. Whether it was an Islamic-inspired attack, we don't know. The police aren't saying at the moment. So there's an open mind on what the motive was. But what a dreadful thing to happen in a park, in a holiday resort packed with tourists at this time of year, when the sun was shining on a Thursday morning with blue skies. It's just an awful thing, and the age of the children is also, of course, very, very disturbing. Thought to be only 3 years old.
Indeed, John, this is a very unfortunate situation, and it's still unfolding. We understand, though, that this suspect was granted refugee status in Sweden, but more details will be given in a press conference that, is scheduled to start shortly. We also understand that from information that he disclosed to the police that he's confirmed that he's a Syrian Christian, and he reportedly has a wife and even a 3-year-old child. Do you have any more information at this time about his history?
No, we're waiting for the mayor. The local mayor is holding a press conference very soon, and maybe we'll hear more. President Macron calling the attack one of absolute cowardice, which of course it was. And of course, not only the town of Annecy, but the whole of France in a state of shock at the moment. There have been Islamic terror attacks, of course, before in the past. The last one was in April 2021, south of Paris, when a policewoman was stabbed to death. But again, I stress, we don't know yet what the motive was for this terrible attack this morning.
We do know that Annecy is a quiet alpine town of about 135,000 people that lies in the South Swiss city of Geneva. This is not the usual occurrence there. Is this in itself going to lead to maybe a higher security assessment of the area up until this case is resolved?
Of course, security will be stepped up across France, as it always is. After an event like this, and if it's confirmed that it's a terror attack, then there will be further measures taken. As I say, France has been the subject of these kinds of attacks over many years. The last big one, I suppose, was in 2015 in Paris with the attack on Charlie Hebdo headquarters by members of Al-Qaeda. There, shooting some 12 people dead. And then, of course, the 3-pronged attack in Paris also that year, which killed over 130 people. But as I say, we don't know the motive yet. Why would a youngish man, 31-year-old Syrian, an asylum seeker in France, suddenly take a knife and begin stabbing innocent children in a park on a sunny morning? We just don't know what the motive is at the moment.
Indeed, Jonathan, and based on what's been disclosed, it looks like the only upside to this is that it's not necessarily being linked to terrorism. But what are you hearing about the emergency service response in terms of what people are saying about how quickly they responded to this situation?
Yes, well, security must have been relatively tight around that area because the police were on the scene within 4 minutes of the first call to emergency services. So whether they were perhaps in the area already, we just don't know. I mean, this is a public area on the edge of a lake, children's playgrounds, people going out for an early morning run in the morning. I wouldn't have thought it was something that the police would keep a very close eye on, an area they keep a close eye on, but they were quickly on the scene, and the man was arrested fairly quickly and is now in police custody being questioned.
All right, then, thank you so much for your updates on this story, John.